The dawn that crawled up the flank of Mauna Kea was the color of half-melted guava sherbet, and Dr. Elena Reyes was already awake to hear the mountains singing. She sat on the grated metal balcony that ringed the Hale Pahana Volcanic Research Station, headphones clamped over her dark curls, eyes closed as her laptop rendered real-time spectrograms. Below, the lava lake inside the South Caldera hissed and bubbled like some enormous cauldron, but Elena was listening for subtler voices, infrasonic pulses and harmonic tremors she called lava songs. 5 years earlier, while calibrating pressure sensors at Kilauea, Alina had noticed that certain earthquakes produced melodic stack-slow rumbles at precise intervals. A chirp, yell, and the world's most potent response to a caldette buzzed as an infrasonic stack-slow rumbles at precise intervals. Back in her graduate apartment, she sped them up and discovered progressions that could have been written by an avant-garde composer. Eventually, she learned to slow them back down in her head, hearing patterns that preceded every significant eruption in the archival record. That became her doctorate, her tenure, her frontier. Still, translation eluded her. She could predict the moment the magma would surge, but not the shape of the surge, the character, the choreography. Lava did not merely erupt, it leapt, coiled, curtsied, and Elena wished for a lexicon that could capture that living geometry. Each morning she promised herself she would invent it. On that particular dawn, a small convoy of vans wound up the access road with the day's first batch of park visitors. Mostly families, a few drone photographers, and a troupe from Ihale Ali Hula Academy scheduled to film an educational video on cultural stewardship. Elena barely noticed until she heard laughter on the balcony below. She glanced down and saw him. Tall, copper skin, hair in a loose bun, and Eleni lit a stone still tucked behind his ear from warm-up exercises. He was teaching a group of teenagers the precise wrist flick that depicts a breaking wave. When he looked up and caught her staring, he winked, as if they were conspirators surveilling the same secret. Then he went back to the lesson, hips describing a gentle figure eight that matched unnervingly the amplitude envelope in Elena's headphones. After the class dispersed, he climbed the spiral stairs to her level. "Kioni Kapule," he said, extending a hand. "Choreographer for the academy. And you must be the woman with the music." "Depends on which music you mean," Elena replied, embarrassed she was still in a coffee-stained hoodie. "The mountains," Kioni said. "I saw the waveform on your screen. Looked like a piu nomilia rhythm." Elena blinked. "You can read a spectrogram?" "I can read a heartbeat," he answered. "The volcano has one too. Our kupuna danced to it." He tapped a knuckle on the railing. 4 quick knocks in the same meter the sensors were presently recording. She shut her laptop, more intrigued than threatened. "Come inside." In the control room, monitors lined the walls, each plotting tremor frequency, gas ratio, or tilt. Neon squiggles crawled across them like alien calligraphy. Elena cued the past week's data, converted to audio, and played it through studio speakers. A rolling doo-on sounded under punctuated knocks, boom, 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 something like a heartbeat with an echo. Kioni closed his eyes, arms lifting. Without warning, his shoulders rippled and he executed a slow ha-ha-mara, knees bent, feet planting in counterpoint to each subterranean thud. When the higher-pitched overtones fluttered, his hands lifted, wrists swirling like helicopter seeds. A technician carrying coffee froze in the doorway, mesmerized. Even Elena, who had always considered herself resigned to solo scholarship, felt her chest vibrate in sympathetic resonance. Loose leaders well rested, the track ended. Kioni straightened. "The volcano is planning a Pakoho overflow," he said. "That step," he repeated, a sliding foot pattern, "means the skin of the lava will drape instead of spatter. It will be long and slow, like hot syrup." "That's exactly what my models predict," Alina murmured, both delighted and unsettled. You're describing a differential effusion rate. Maybe, Keone said. Or maybe I'm describing how Pele clears her throat before a story. He pulled an old field notebook from his backpack, pages decorated with staff notation and hula icons, wave marks, rain dots, swirl glyphs for vortex winds. My tutu collected chants from every eruption she survived. The dancers keep them alive, but we've lost the order. I think the spectrograms are the missing index. Alina's skeptic reflex twitched, but she bit it back. She'd spent a decade telling elder geologists that magma could sing. She owed this stranger the same courtesy she'd begged. I don't suppose you'd want to collaborate, she said lightly. Keone's smile was pure sunrise. I was hoping you'd ask. For 3 weeks, they worked in tandem. Elena captured infrasonic feeds, stripped out interference, and printed time-linked sheets of color bands. Keone overlaid hula glyphs, assigning each sonic motif a gesture. Kahela for the long, low drones, Konami for the mid-range undulations, and Konami Uehe, an explosive heel drop for the sharp gas bursts. They rehearsed in the empty loading bay, the only space large enough for Keone's full troupe. Alina cued the projected waveform on a hanging sheet. Keone danced inside it like a physician walking through a holographic heart. As the lava lake pulsed in the background, dancers responded, arms painting stories older than steel. Soon, the researchers found excuses to linger. Someone propped the door with a folding chair, someone else brought malasados. The mathematician from UCSD, who'd once dismissed Elena's theories, began sampling the dance patterns, mapping them onto differential equations. And when a timid intern whispered that the dance predicted the gas index spike 2 hours early, nobody laughed. One evening, when the halogen floodlights had been switched off and the crater glowed faintly beyond the open loading dock, Keone cornered Elena by the equipment lockers. "You hear that?" he asked. She listened. A new harmony in the tremor, 5 hertz higher than yesterday. A delicate chirp atop the basso continuo. "She's changing her key," Elena said. Keone nodded. "She's putting on her red skirt. Fast eruption coming." Helena hurried to a keyboard, entered parameters, and frowned. The tilt meters agree. She could vent in 48 hours. But look. She pointed at a sawtooth pattern. There's an anomalous oscillation at the end. "An Uliul shake," Keone translated, tapping 4 fingers to his chest. "She's conflicted." "Which could mean the activity migrates." Alina rubbed her temple. "If we misplace the vent zone, the civil defense call will evacuate the wrong subdivision." Keone regarded her, eyes gentle. "Then we finish the dance. All of it. There's still 1 verse we haven't decoded." She swallowed. "That means going down to the overlook. The sensors won't pick up higher harmonics from here." "Then let's go." The path to Pele's window, a jut of cooled basalt above the lava lake, was technically off limits after dusk. Elena flashed her ID at the ranger, who glared but let them pass. They hiked single file, boots crunching cinder. Every few steps the ground shuddered like a sleeping beast turning in its burrow. At the overlook, the vista stole Elena's breath. The lava lake churned 50 meters below, black crust curling to reveal neon veins. The heat hit like a furnace door opening. Keone laid a papa over her headphones to shield the electronics, then opened his arms to the void. He began to dance. Not performance. Prayer. Feet rooted, torso spiraling, arms inviting the molten landscape into human proportions. Alina knelt and set the recorder on the basalt. She heard the harmonics, ultra-high squeals, like glass rubbed by wet fingers. Her laptop's LED flickered crimson. The software registered amplitude beyond its calibration. The patterns formed whorls she recognized from Keone's notebook. The final verse. She mouthed the glyphs as they emerged. Kui, kie, kiana, unuu. But there was another symbol, scrawled only once in the margins of the old chant. A butterfly shape she'd assumed was doodle. Keone stopped. Sweat gleamed on his brow. She's offering a choice, he whispered. Either the main vent breaks tonight, or a fissure opens toward the sea in 3 days. He placed his palm on Elena's chest, just above her racing heart. The rhythm says, "The second path will spare the town." Elena's rational mind balked. This was folklore extrapolation, but the raw instruments backed it. Tilt vectors slanted south-southeast, minute by minute. The magma was migrating. Lightning flickered inside a sulfur cloud. Elena's phone buzzed, her director demanding an update. She inhaled the scorched air, then exhaled certainty. "I need to call civil defense," she said. "I'm going on record. 3 days. Southern Fisher." Keone clasped her hand. "I'll stand with you." That night was a blur of conference calls, satellite imagery, alert levels. The governor wanted proof. Elena offered probability grids, plus the intangible authority in her own trembling voice. By dawn, the decision was made. Voluntary evac of Ocean Vista subdivision. Watch status for the rest. The mayor took the political heat. Elena took the scientific jeers. For 24 hours, geologists worldwide logged into the station's live stream, waiting to crow over her error. Elena's colleagues paced, drank too much coffee, and avoided her gaze. Only Keone seemed calm. He rallied his dancers to rehearse the finale, the butterfly glyph. "It's called Lemnikak Kahak," he told them, "the moment a heart bursts open with truth." On the morning of the third day, the calm was eerie. Seismometers flatlinered, gas emissions dipped. Twitter labeled Elena a doomsayer. Even she began to doubt, staring at the quiet crater. Keone found her on the balcony, arms around her knees. "Listen," he said softly. "I don't hear anything," she replied. "Exactly." He tapped her headphones. "Silence is the inhale before a chant." He crouched, brushed a stray curl behind her ear. "Whatever happens, this work matters." She leaned her forehead to his. The brimstone smell mingled with his sweat and sandalwood cologne. "You must think I'm ridiculous." "Ridiculously brave." His lips brushed hers. The world tilted, and for one suspended instant, her mind was lava, liquid, luminous, unstoppable. Then the mountain answered. A subsonic thud rolled through the station, rattling windows. Alarms erupted, red lights strobed. Elena and Keone sprinted to the control room. On the main screen, seismic traces spiked like a myocardial infarction. "Fissure, 12 kilometers south," shouted the tilt technician. Gas monitors shot off the chart. Infrared cameras showed a glowing slash in the forested flank. It was exactly where Keone's dance had mapped the butterfly burst. Cheers erupted, mixed with terrified awe. In the field, drones captured fountains of orange lava bending seaward, following natural channels away from homes. The subdivision Elena had urged to evacuate lost a few backyard fences and one unlucky shed, but no human lives. Later, news anchors would credit foresight, luck, and the innovative acoustic cultural model developed by Dr. Reyes and Mr. Keone. Right now, though, inside the station's humming nerve center, Elena sagged against Keone, laughter and tears shaking her frame. "We did it," she said, half disbelieving. "We read her dance." "No," Keone corrected gently, kissing the salt from her eyelashes. "We let her read us." Weeks passed in a montage of reports, grant offers, and film crews. National Geographic wanted a docuseries. The USGS requested Elena chair a new subcommittee on Indigenous data synergy. Keone's academy fielded invitations from Vienna to Tokyo. They spent most nights drafting protocols for calibrating chants into choreography, for citing oral history alongside Fourier transforms, and most mornings waking in each other's arms, bodies still humming in the volcano's key. But the real culmination came in late spring, during the annual High Kanariaki Festival. A temporary stage rose on a cooled lava plain overlooking the still sective fissure, which now steamed like a giant tea kettle. Tourists arrived by the busload. Locals drove pickup shelters decorated with tea leaves. The festival committee insisted Elena be part of the closing number. She doesn't dance, Keone warned them. She dances every time she plots a waveform, argued Auntie Lehua, the matriarchal stage manager. So Elena found herself wrapped in a scarlet pianaminhu, ankles adorned with teali shells that rattled like tiny seismographs. Backstage, she panicked. I'll wreck your choreography. Keone cupped her jaw. The earth never repeats a step exactly, he said. Imperfection is her originality. The performance began at twilight. Dancers entered in concentric circles, hips undulating like magma ropes. Keone led them, shoulders steady, expression serene. Elena stood center, heart pounding so loudly she imagined the seismometers picking it up. When the music, a layered remix of actual lava songs, swelled, Keone signaled. Elena lifted her arms, executed the resolved butterfly gesture, and felt something crack open behind her breastbone. Not pain, lima. The audience gasped as a gust of steam whooshed from the fissure, backlit by flames, as if the volcano were applauding. Later, under a sky rippled with stars, they wandered beyond the generator noise. The ground was warm through the soles of their sandals. Elena toyed with Keone's calloused fingers. So, what's next? She asked. Next? He smiled sideways. We teach the mountain's language to anyone who'll listen. Scientists, dancers, kids with better imaginations than ours. And us? He pulled her close, cheek to her temple. Us? We'll keep translating eyes, ears, skin, heart. Every heartbeat is a micro-eruption, yeah. He placed her palm over his chest where the shells had bruised his skin through the Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. That's you in there now. Elena laughed, soft and astonished. I used to think eruptions were destructive. They are, Keone agreed, but destruction makes room. Lava kills a forest. Years later, silver sword blossoms in the cinder. A heart breaks, something brighter grows. She considered the horizon, where the new lava delta hissed into the sea. Steam pillars climbed skyward, glowing peach in the moonlight, an incandescent garden born from collision. Then may ours keep breaking, she said, over and over, until the whole world blooms. Keone kissed her, and the shells around their ankles rustled like distant applause. Behind them, the volcano hummed its endless song, sometimes thunder, sometimes whisper, always a rhythm waiting for bodies brave enough to dance it and minds wild enough to listen. The mountain, the scientist, and the dancer formed a triptych of living language, each trusting the others to complete the sentence. And as long as they did, they would go on predicting eruptions of rock, of renewal, of the unstoppable human heart